and the idea is that I could do a whole bunch of Toronto. Oh, hey everyone! This week, a judge rants about his cases on Facebook, resulting in a reverse decision against a sex offender. What will Facebook ruin next? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Political campaigns can't accept Bitcoin donations, yet another setback for anarchists seeking to participate in the political process. And the Beastie Boys don't want their songs in ads, but a toy company claims parodies are fair use. Does that mean I can put any song into an ad for any purpose, provided I change the lyrics? Awesome, because I'm putting together an ad myself. I'm just a hot... Oh, damn it.
Don't stop. Just stop.
Just stop. My name is Justin Pott. I'm in Boulder, Colorado, and I doubt that May Holland has the best interests of the circle in mind. You're listening to Technophilia. Keep doing that. Not with me today from the UK is James Bruce. He's apparently sick. Don't know what's up with that. But with me to replace him from Nova Scotia is Guy McDowell. Did I get that right, Guy?
That is correct.
So Guy literally did not know he was going to be on a show 20 minutes ago. He volunteered, so he's here, and he's going to fill in, and he's going to be better than James.
It doesn't take much.
Yeah, it's not really a high bar.
Have you listened to the show?
To honesty time? No, I haven't.
Okay, so this is going to be excellent. Also with me today from Connecticut, way down south on the East Coast, really. About as far, I mean, within the definition of New England some people use. You guys are kind of in the same area, aren't you?
Yeah, we're in the Maritimes area.
Yes.
Suppose, yes.
Dave, what's up, Dave?
I just got an alert on my phone that we have some flood watching warning things going on. So.
Oh, flood? We have some of them.
I'm not really in like a flood zone, so I don't think it directly pertains to me. But you know, it's been raining for like 2 days straight. So.
Okay, so I mean, those of us who are watching the video feed, if we see water, we'll know why you're leaving.
Yeah, probably they just drift away in the middle of the episode. You know, just protect the video games, all right? Yep. Don't worry about me. Protect the video games.
Wait, aren't they in your basement? That's going to be a problem.
What are you talking about? You're right here. I see you. I'm talking to you.
Oh, okay.
God, so dumb.
Wait, are you not in the basement?
Who's in the basement?
I don't know what's going on. Let's move on to the news. The Beastie Boys, as I said at the top of the show, asked toy company Goldie Blox not to use a parody of their song Girls in a video. Deceased member MCA said the songs cannot be used for ads in his will. Goldie Blox was going to sue them, claiming fair use, but has backed down. Who wins may not matter because apparently the toys kind of suck. I suggest you click that link and check out a first-hand review. But yeah, a lot of layers to unwrap here, right? Because there is such a thing in U.S. law as fair use. I don't suppose you know what that is, Dave?
You can use stuff fairly.
Really? Okay, so think about Weird Al, right? When he makes a song, he doesn't necessarily need the permission to make a parody version of the song because he's changing the lyrics and he's doing something of cultural value.
But he also tweaks the music part of it too, doesn't he? A little bit.
Occasionally.
He never uses like the karaoke version and then sings it because that would be stealing the recording. He makes his own recording, right?
Yeah.
Actually, he does actually not make a song if the artist requests him not to.
He does.
He could, but he could if he
could.
wanted to. He's nice and and people consider it an honor to be redone by Weird Al anyway, so he doesn't really have to struggle to find people.
Didn't Coolio not like Amish Paradise? Like this did happen, and he couldn't do anything about it because of fair use. So you can make fun of a song like that. That's considered of cultural use. But there have been court precedents where judges have said, no, the parody thing kind of is going to get less priority if you're making it for an ad, which is why I can't just sing about hot dogs in an ad to the tune of a, say, Bohemian Rhapsody and get away with it, right? But the lines are blurry. Now, Goldie Blox with this song is saying they're taking an originally sexist song and turning it into something empowering for women, and that there's an argument there. You could say, right? Assuming that Girls is a sexist song. Do you know the song we're talking about, Guy?
Oh, I'm that old, yes.
Yeah, I'm that old.
All I really want is girls. Something, girls.
Wait,
yeah.
I was there. Released on
My wife is dancing upstairs.
the vinyl things. Yeah, I was there for that. Yeah.
You were there for that. Okay, you were in Brooklyn at the time.
Well, I was there for when the vinyl was pressed on Beastie Boys, and
yeah.
You know.
Okay.
He had some hammer pants on. You know, he was keeping it gangster.
Calling it an originally sexist song, I think, kind of misses the point that the song's a joke in the first place, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean,
did the Beastie Boys really do anything politically motivated? I mean, in music?
They did in the 2000s, but not back
Yo,
then.
you gotta fight for your right to party, man.
Well,
that
that's
was
true.
politically motivated.
In the 2000s, they got pretty political with a lot of their lyrics, but before that, it was just.
Yeah.
I mean, they were making fun of cultural things, right? So "Fight for Your Right to Party" started as a joke about how dumb frat boys are, but then frat boys didn't get the joke and really, really liked the song, so they became popular with the audience they were mocking. So that's a weird story too. But "Girls" isn't actually about. I mean, if you listen to the lyrics, I don't think anyone would reasonably think this is their actual viewpoint of what women are.
To paraphrase Jerry Seinfeld, if you like girls, how can that be sexist?
But yeah, I get what you're getting at. So, anyways, you could debate whether Goldie Blox's song, which have you guys seen the ads?
No.
It's like a Rube Goldberg machine kind of a thing. So like the Incredible Machine, where stuff like hits other stuff and causes more to happen. So it's one of those looping around a house, and the lyrics are all about how girls don't want to play with just princess toys anymore. They want to play with toys that teach them that they can be engineers and
Oh,
programmers.
I think I did see. Was this on during the Super Bowl?
They're trying to get it on during the Super Bowl, but now they really can't because the song's been removed. I don't know what they're going to replace it with.
Do girls really want to play with engineering toys, or are there just grown-up girls out there that want young girls to play with engineering toys?
You know, there are mothers who want their kids to do things besides just play with Barbie dolls.
When I was a little girl, I liked playing with engineering toys, so I mean...
I think you can be pretty and be an engineer. I'm not going to take that away from them. I think they have the right to do everything.
Well, no one's saying don't play with these toys. It's just maybe you can have an alternative. Now the marketing of toys is kind of ridiculous, right? How gendered it is, especially for kids who don't feel particularly loyal to their gender. This is the tomboy phenomenon, right? Like, a lot of people don't necessarily want to play with that stuff, and that's their choice. But the marketing's pretty intense. So Goldie Blox is trying to go against that here. Yeah. But apparently the toys are just terrible. There's a blog post I linked to from Tumblr here where a woman's saying, "I hate to be the feminist Grinch, but has anyone played with these? Because they're kind of awful." My kid was amused by them for maybe a half hour, then she gave up. So, and they're exploiting mothers' desire to have their kids do something else for a market purpose. They're trying to use this feeling that's a positive one, that girls should get away from these toys, just to sell them some plastic crap. So,
I'm confused. If you actually go out with a product, no matter whether it's engineering based or fashion based, and you say that it is for girls, ipso facto sexist.
I don't know, sexist, but you are making a gender claim.
But what differentiates this from, say, Lego? Or
the color scheme and the marketing. So far as I can tell, there's nothing uniquely female. It's not like you're building something feminine. It's marketing, you know.
But that's the thing. If you're marketing it to girls, and because
you're kind of perpetuating it, aren't you?
Yeah. I mean, why not just put a toy out there and say, boys and girls? You know, it worked for Slinky.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Or even Lego back in the day. The thing is, Lego's changed its marketing completely.
Well, they have a whole
since the 80s, where it's less gender neutral in its marketing. The last time a girl was in a Lego ad was a long time ago, unless the blocks they were trying to sell were pink. I don't know why it breaks down so much along gender lines.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's crazy. You have kids, guy?
I do. I have 3.
Yeah. 3? Genders? Do they have them?
There's one we're not sure about, but
okay.
2 boys and 1 girl.
2 boys and 1 girl. Okay. And then do you buy gender-specific toys? I think it's just so fascinating.
Do I buy gender-specific toys?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean for the kids?
Yeah.
We're getting really personal in there. That's a whole other type of technology.
Yeah.
You guys? No, I'm not going to go into that. Sorry. No, I don't really know, because my girl, she's 17, and she's on the provincial rugby team.
Oh, okay.
17-year-olds don't usually play with toys that much.
So, you know, I get her a padded head thing so she can smash her face against other girls.
She's 17. She's on the provincial rugby team. Nova Scotia has a provincial rugby team?
Sure, we're a province.
Sure, we're a province. Why not? That counts, right? I just didn't know they had any teams outside curling, is all. Let's move right along here. Google is patenting technology that will update social networks so you don't have to. You heard that properly. It will see that there's news happening. It will guess what your opinion on this would be, and then it'll, like, on your phone just pop up, hey, would you like to tweet this? And then you can just click approve. So yeah, it really takes the mind out of it. If they could go a step further and read all the crap on these social networks for me so I don't have to, then we'd be done here. Then I could just get back to my life. What do you think, Dave?
I think it sounds great. I hate posting things on social media, so I mean, hey, if they can do it for me.
You should just do it for you. I mean, if we could just have the social networks be entirely robots posting things and robots reading things, then we can get back to doing stuff with our lives.
But I want to read the things posted by the robots. I just don't want to post anything.
Oh, you want to read the things the robots post?
I would like to know what the robots find interesting. You know, like
what the robots think I will find interesting.
Of the things happening in the human world, what would the robots think is newsworthy?
This sounds amazing.
You know, like I'm sure that Beastie Boys story we spent 20 minutes on would totally be high on the robots list.
Oh yeah. Well, robots find gender fascinating. They don't understand.
And Beastie Boys, I mean.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Intergalactic. Spent most of his life in the last century. I'd like to compare this to an older technology we had that did the same thing.
Oh, what was that?
You see, essentially what Google is saying is that they're going to go out there, they're going to read stuff, and they're going to tell you what your opinion is on it.
Yeah. Oh, this is television.
No, they're replacing my wife. What do you, like... Honey, here's this happening, and this is how you feel about it. So, yes,
I didn't know that.
Speaking of sexist.
Speaking of sexism, yeah. Let's bringing it back around. We got a theme here going.
It all comes full circle.
Yeah. The circle must be completed.
There's a high possibility that this is filled with vodka.
Well, it's already 11:20 over there. Oh no, it's like noon over there, isn't it?
Oh hell yeah.
11:20. Wait, or is he older? Is he ahead of me?
The Atlantic time zone exists, so East Coast.
I always forget about that time zone.
Yeah. I remember when Microsoft first put out Windows 3.1, it did not include the Atlantic time zone because they didn't know there was one there. So you're not alone, Dave.
I know it's there, but is it cold up there where you are?
No, it's unseasonably warm. Yeah, unseasonably warm. It's in the pluses right now. We're actually getting the same weather as Connecticut right now with the heavy rains and winds.
Is it good skiing up there?
If you could find a hill.
That's what I was going to say. Is it hilly or is it flat?
Part of the country.
It's actually pretty hilly, but most of our hills here are Appalachian. Like, they're already worn down and stuff. There's no real skiing in Nova Scotia. I mean, there is skiing, but having lived in Alberta, there's no real skiing.
Oh, you lived in Alberta?
What a waste of cold weather, then.
We should just talk about Canada this whole show. I think that's a more interesting use of our time. Where'd you live in Alberta, man?
Central Alberta, near Red Deer.
Near Red Deer? Okay, cool. I am drinking coffee, chat room. It's not vodka. Rob Ford, by the way, speaking of Canada, is in the chat room, so I'd like to say hi to the world's most popular crack-smoking mayor. Hey, thanks for stopping by. He's been asking me for stuff. I get a lot of confusion with my name. I think about half my Twitter followers see that I'm named Justin Pott and am in Colorado and just assume I'm like a marijuana pundit or something. Because they have really weird profiles, and I don't think they actually read anything I write.
You are a marijuana pundit, though.
I suppose by default I am. I mean, Clout thinks I'm an authority on the subject because of my followers, so there you go. Yeah. So I'm kind of catching up with you on the Twitter followers, Dave, but it doesn't really count because it's all people who think I'm a pot expert.
Well, that's right. All the people I have are just people who they think that if they follow me on Twitter, they'll have a better chance of winning than giveaways.
Oh, really?
Because, when somebody clicks the tweet button on the site, it says buy at Sidox every time they tweet it. And then all their friends and they all follow me thinking, maybe that'll help me win. It's not going to help you win, bro. Sorry.
Speaking of winning, this week's episode is brought to you by Bitdefender Antivirus for Mac. You think Macs don't catch viruses? Think again. Although Macs are traditionally believed to be less prone to cyber criminal attacks, recent developments have shown that malware writers are concentrating more on finding vulnerabilities in Mac OS and popular Mac applications. Stay safe with Bitdefender Antivirus for Mac.
Or else you'll die!
They're longtime supporters of the show. We couldn't be more enthusiastic about their support, so please check their products out. We'd appreciate it.
Or else you'll die.
That would definitely ruin your day.
No. I hate it when I die. It's the worst.
It's painful.
And every time I die, I tell the robot to rant about it on Facebook. There's a judge somewhere stateside who's ranting about his cases on Facebook, and his rant somehow became public, and it ended up reversing a ruling against a sex offender. So good job, dude. Highlights, he said you can never trust anyone who uses Arial in a document. So, yeah, sound judgment there. And he referred to the person accused as a pervert on Facebook, and yeah, that's not good. You're supposed to be impartial as a decider, so yeah, a bit of a problem. Facebook, people keep thinking they can just say whatever they want in this public forum without consequences. You'd think a judge would know better, wouldn't you, Guy?
No, I wouldn't.
Why not?
Well, okay, I'm assuming this is an American judge, right? Massachusetts, yeah. I said that right. Straight face, even. Massachusetts. So we're talking about elected judges?
No, not elected.
Not elected?
Appointed.
I mean, I don't think judges are only elected in a couple states. I don't think Massachusetts is one of them.
I thought that was a cross-country thing.
No.
Well, and the other thing to it, I think just in general, is that judges are out of touch with reality to begin with. I mean, they're living in a whole different strata of society that, just doesn't relate
That's
to.
definitely more true in Canada. Don't they have to wear the wigs there and everything? I'm remembering that from when I went to court cases and stuff.
They stopped with the wigs. I mean, they still can.
They still can, but they don't have to. Okay. I remember I went to a court case. I was a journalist up in Peace River, Alberta, and I went to a court case, and the judge was actually wearing the wig, and I'm like, what is going on? I just didn't realize they still did that. So it's optional now. Okay.
In Peace
But
River.
they're definitely, I mean, everyone has to refer to them as Your Honor. You're right. It's like an elevated level of existence, and you could think that you're immune from things like this, potentially, but I don't think that's what's going on here. I just really think he didn't think this would get out.
It's kind of cool. I've always kind of wondered what a judge is thinking when you see, like, I mean, the judge on, like, a daily basis kind of, like, spends time meeting with, like, the lowest of the low in society, and I've always wanted to know, like, what's their honest opinion of these people? And now,
if you read this list of things that were from it,
yeah, now we kind of know.
Things like I had to lay the smack down on some crazy attorney, saying that he hates silly motions, and and this is the highlight that the tech press went off with, you can't trust someone who drafts a letter in Arial font.
I'm the judge knows his typography. That's pretty impressive. Like, what does he draft in? I don't know. I hope it's not Comic Sans, because really, that throws his whole window.
The whole internet, like, no one would have any problem if he was saying Comic Sans, right? But Arial, that's not the best font, but it's not a terrible one either.
Pretty.
It's not offensive, Arial. Like, no one hates Arial.
I like the is off to jail for the day. Let's hope he doesn't get shanked.
Yeah.
But there didn't seem to be any sarcasm in that. He didn't make a winky face, so I guess he was really hoping he didn't get shanked.
That's any judges out there listening. If you want to be, like, not held responsible, winky face. That's
yeah.
Yeah, that's your card out on every time. That's your get it.
Now there's a winky face. So okay, so if you want to steal intellectual property, change the lyrics and say it's a parody, and then you can use it in your commercial. And if you want to say terrible things that could and should threaten your job, just make sure you add a winky face. These are lessons for you. And if you want to start a technology company, what you should do is copy Uber, but make it for something else. Uber, if you're not familiar, is a company that lets you call up drivers in the city you happen to be visiting or in, and they'll come and pick you up. It's just normal people. A black jet is trying to be the Uber for private jets. So the idea being that people own private jets, and most of the time they're not using them, so they're just sitting there. So you pay thousands of dollars, you get a black jet subscription, and now you can, anytime you're in an airport, instead of riding with the plebes, just to say, oh, I want a private jet. Oh, yeah, this one's good. Do that. Surprise, surprise, this isn't working. It costs a lot of money to get into the program. One person who tried using it said it was easier to get an appointment in the White House than to get approved in the first place for this thing. And people who have paid the fee say there's aren't really any jets that they can use with it, so it's kind of pointless. I'm not surprised by this. There just aren't that many private jets in the world, but I want to know what you think, Dave.
I wish I had a private jet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's a terrible idea, and
Mhm. I mean,
they
yeah.
would need a good solid network of people who are willing to let their jet be used before they go out and start taking people's money for
Yeah.
the promise of using jets, and apparently they forgot to do that. So
And I'm assuming you'd have to like pay for the jet after the fact, because if you could get a subscription to private jets for 2,500, why would anyone deal with an airline again, right? So like, there's got to be a lot more pay here.
I
It
would
was
think
backed by Ashton Kutcher and Jay-Z, so they had really savvy investors on this thing, people with a lot of experience.
Now wait, did Ashton Kutcher and Jay-Z did they put up their jets?
No, but they invested.
They're like, fuck that, we'll invest in this shit, but you're not using our fucking jet. Hell no. I don't want some common folk in my jet.
Well, this is the thing. Like, the whole point of a private jet is that it's like your jet.
Private, and you don't have to worry about somebody like taking a shit in your bathroom and
Yeah, that's what they're.
or throwing up when they're drunk from all of your free booze. Like, it's your jet. It's always clean and ready when you want it.
Yeah, so it's just a bit of a weird idea on its face.
But the Uber thing is a good idea, being able to just call people and have them pick you up, I guess, as long as they don't murder you. The actual thing it's based on. I've never heard of this thing before. This is news to me.
That when I was younger too. We called them taxis.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but taxis are...
No, but you have to understand that this is taxi without union labor. That's really what this is about. They don't have to go with any regulations. The government doesn't tell them when they can and can't do it. So it's taxis without the restrictions and the protections for the drivers.
Has anyone been murdered from Uber yet?
I don't think so. No.
I smell the death pool coming on.
I feel like it's only a matter of time before some deranged
car
serial
accident or
killer
something?
realizes, like, wait, people will just push a button on an app and then tell me where they are, and then I just go get them and kill them? This is really easy.
It's gonna be someone in our chat room too, you jerk.
It's probably Koshi.
No, probably. He's not really in India. He's in
actually in my crawl space.
So, Guy, just so you know, we've got a longtime fan named Koshi, and he's always in the chat room talking about Bitcoin. You've probably met him already briefly, and he's like the fourth star of the show. Yeah, let's just move right along here to the Pirate Bay. The co-founder said in a pretty long speech that you can't beat politics with technology. And this goes against the grain of, well, what the Pirate Bay was trying to do. Like, you're not going to make it easy for me to get videos. I'm just going to put them up on the internet for anyone to download. But it also goes against some of the common conception in the technology world that we don't have to concern ourselves with politics because we can just create something that will bypass any restrictions that are created. Uber, appropriately enough, is an example of this. They're mad that the government's trying to stop them from having these cars, but there are perfectly legitimate reasons in a city like New York that you wouldn't want everyone who wants to drive a taxi to be able to. There's reasons for the restrictions. Uber seeks to bypass that. And people get mad when it can't just bypass it. But there's a reason for political policies to be in place, and you can't necessarily just undo the will of the democratically elected people by creating a technology that bypasses it. So I think this is a good point from an unlikely source. What do you think, Guy?
I think you can try. I mean, that's the whole point behind civil disobedience in general.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you can go through the appropriate routes to try to get a law changed, and sometimes it just takes a certain amount of people saying, screw it, we're going to do it anyway, before the law changes. Mind you, no one ever wants to be the first person to do that.
No. But and then I think what he's saying here at its heart is that technology alone isn't enough to cause change, right? We as a generation, or my generation at least, seems to think that you can change the world just by dragging files from one server to another. At least that's what Snowden thought. And he's right in some ways, but you also need to stand behind what you do. You need to explain clearly why what you're doing is important and engage the political process. I mean, that's part of it. You can't just do one. You got to do both.
One thing that I've often said is that technology is never the issue. Policy is. Policy is always the issue. The technology can be made to do anything you want whatsoever. It's just what is going to be the corporate policy, what's going to be the party policy, what's going to be government policy. And that's ultimately going to guide where technology goes.
Yeah.
So,
Kashi in Facebook this week said, expecting technology to make up for all the bad political decisions is not the right approach. And Tom Willoughby, a longtime fan on the Facebook page, says, he's both right and wrong. You only need to look at Facebook pages begging likes and shares for causes. It shows the idea of action is more important than taking action. On the other hand, in order to create change, you must represent thousands of voices. Technology makes it infinitely easier to gather, organize, and mobilize these voices. So, well, I think what Tom's saying here is that you can use technology to make voices heard, but the technology alone is not enough. The voices need to actually be saying something, and they need to be willing to follow up, right?
I'm wondering if the ease with which we can gather, organize, and mobilize these voices detracts from the value of the voices. Anybody can sign. I mean, how many requests do you get a day for these different petitions?
Yeah,
and
seriously.
Are they even legally valid? Probably not. I remember when I was a kid. Here's the old man again. It was a big deal to get a paper-written petition going, and you had to put an awful lot of information on there.
That was a big deal to sign it, and now half the time when you see a petition unique to Canada, you'll see 300,000 people stateside signing it. Yeah. So what does that even mean? I mean, that's not a petition to the government. That's just...
It means we love you guys and we want to help you out.
It was just a random example. But, you know, like, petitions only mean something from a legal standpoint if they within the jurisdiction they're intended for, right? But these online petitions, that's not the goal, right? It's just more raising awareness.
But it's like pablum, political pablum. There,
yeah.
Document that. That's trademark that.
Yeah. I think it's out there already, but yeah.
Damn, it makes you feel like you've done something when all you've done is check the box. Like that's.
And in a way, that is weird. I mean, there was a study. I don't have this to cite for you guys, but it showed that people who eat organic food are less likely to donate to charity. All they did was they fed someone an apple. They told half the people it was organic and half the people that it wasn't, and then asked to donate to charity. And the people who ate the organic apple felt, on some level, like they already did something good that day, so they gave less. It's part of the psychology, right? So people check something on a online petition like that, and they feel, even if not consciously, that they've already done something good today. They don't need to do anything else. So you're right. It's political pablum. It distracts people from actually doing things.
Even in the old handwritten petitions,
mm-hmm.
Still didn't have any real weight. I mean, in the sense that they would go to whoever your member of parliament was, or senator, or whatever. They'd look at it and go, "That's nice," and file it under G, or they might feel particularly moved and do something about it. But there was nothing there to bind them to it. I mean, I think in some cases, is it Sweden or Switzerland that has the referendum where if they get, I believe it's in the neighborhood of 100,000 signatures, legitimate signatures on a paper petition, if they can force a referendum on an issue.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot easier to do in a smaller country like Switzerland than it would be to do in the United States. But, in a lot of individual states, if enough people propose something, you can amend the Constitution or make a new law. That's how marijuana is now legal in Colorado, for example.
So that's when you see those proposition number whatever.
Yeah, it's usually they get a certain number of people sign a petition, right? And that makes it go onto the ballot, and then when the election happens, it can become law. And again, that's why there's going to be marijuana stores in my town soon, where you can just buy it. The FDA might shut it down because it's still against federal law, but let's not get into like that. That's just how that happens. So that does work in individual places. So yeah, there's a petition like that has legal consequences, and then there's these online petitions on sites like change.org, which just really the bare minimum you can do to be politically engaged.
Yeah, well, look at the petitions with the Xbox though. With the Xbox One, people put out the petitions that we don't want the always online stuff, and Microsoft was like, "All right, fuck it, you guys win. No more always online." So I mean, petitions can work.
They can,
even with a big company like Microsoft who doesn't.
They can, but it's not the petition alone. If you look at something like the SOPA thing, the political process was just overwhelmed because people who weren't politically engaged previously took the time to call a congressman, took the time to write a physical letter to senators. That got across way more than signing some petition on change.org. So I'm not saying don't sign petitions. I'm saying if you do, take the time to maybe contact your congressman or your member of parliament directly, because that's going to have way more impact.
For shizzle.
I think we're keeping someone up.
We're what?
I think we're keeping someone awake here. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
You saw that giant ass yawn?
Speaking of political
It'll work, buddy.
engagement. Maybe you're sitting on hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin right now, and you're thinking, I would like to individually pick the next U.S. president. Well, you're going to have to convert those Bitcoins to cash before you can do that, because political campaigns legally cannot accept Bitcoin donations according to a new FEC ruling. So there's that, I guess. Sorry, Kashi. You're going to have to convert money first.
Hey, Bitcoin's our money, Justin, all right? God.
Apparently not if you want to donate to a campaign.
God.
I wonder if it's just because it's too anonymous they wouldn't know where the money's going. I'm not sure.
There's a certain accountability that they have for where donations actually come from,
Yeah.
and then there's donation limits as well. I mean, I don't know, there's only so much each individual can donate or something to that. Corporations, I don't know what it is in the U.S., but
I think what it comes down to is that the prostitutes don't take Bitcoin, so they're really useless to the politicians.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you said prostitutes twice or politicians twice. Same thing, aren't they?
Yeah, same thing.
Whatever.
These high-paid hoes.
Good thing no one important listens to this podcast.
Yeah, seriously. Moving right along.
We'd be blacklisted.
Well, Rob Ford's listening. What are you talking about? The NSA has asked Linus Torvalds for a Linux backdoor. Linus said, no, that's about the end of the story. But just to see the extent, the effort the NSA went in order to get all of our information.
That's not really that much effort. They just asked.
Oh, they asked the guy, yeah.
It's not really that hard. It's like, yo, bro, can you hook us up with this? No? All right.
Okay.
Well, we can't blame us for trying.
Yeah.
Linus is like, I haven't touched Linux in like 6 years, man. I don't know. Fucking everybody else is building it now.
Kidding, I'm just in the mailing list. I don't actually do anything.
Pretty much at this point, right?
I think he has veto over what does and doesn't go into the code still. Benevolent Dictator for Life, I believe is his title.
Well, it's kind of, with it being open source software, how could he?
What do you mean? I mean, anyone who wants to can fork Linux, but in order to be the official Linux release, he's got to approve it. I believe that's the structure. Yeah.
I mean, look at how many distros are out there, though. Like, so he makes a backdoor in the official Linux, and then
he makes the kernel.
In the kernel, and so somebody goes in and messes with the kernel and takes it out. Cool. I don't know.
You totally could do that with your release, but the kernel is at the heart of a number of projects, and for the most part, it's untouched inside all these projects. So if he were to add a backdoor and it were somehow not undetected by the hundreds of people who collaborate on the project, it would have been there on most of the distros for a long time. Yeah.
Well, and I also wonder too. You know, Microsoft says that they're not going to put a backdoor in, or at least they said that at one point.
Yeah.
How much of that is posturing and just saying, "Oh, public, we're not going to do it," and then privately they actually go ahead and do it?
Yeah,
for Microsoft, it would be easier, or it'd be harder for people to find it since nobody's.
Yeah. I mean, the thing with Linux is the code's open there, right? So if there is something that just specifically communicates with the NSA, someone's going to find it. Microsoft, you're right, Dave. It would be a little easier. They could put it in there, and someone might notice ultimately that, hey, what are these pings going out through my router to some database in Utah? You know, like someone would figure it out that way, unless they really did a good job masking it, maybe routed it through Microsoft's headquarters during the update process. I don't know.
They didn't say any ideas, but why aren't they doing this at the hardware level?
Maybe they are.
I mean, look what they did with the printers in Iraq. They all these laser printers and stuff that were shipped over to Iraq pre Gulf War I, which happened to be in the Canadian Air Force at the time. They actually had homing devices in. I don't know if you ever saw that wicked video of the ones. It was an air to surface missile being launched from an airplane. Went right in the front door of that bunker. On the printer had a homing device inside of it.
You're kind of cutting off a little, guy, but that's pretty amazing. I didn't know that story. Yeah. So yeah, they could do it at the hardware level. That would just Apple wouldn't do anything that evil.
I've already welcomed the NSA into my house with my Xbox One, so...
Yeah, seriously, there's a camera in your corner that has to always be connected to the internet.
Well, it doesn't have to be. By choice, I have it.
You were saying that you like being able to walk into your living room and say, like, Xbox, turn on.
It's Xbox on, all right?
Xbox on. Okay, sorry.
It's turn off.
If you tell it tea Earl Grey hot, what happens?
It shuts off immediately and then explodes.
Oh, that sucks. That's really disappointing to me.
Yeah, you just figured out the secret self-destruct command.
Quick, yell it. See if it happens.
That's right. I want to know.
Xbox blows up in the back.
The Xbox just blows up.
It's pretty expensive. I don't really want it to blow up.
Yeah, that makes sense.
$500 on it.
Probably a good decision. Speaking of the NSA, I was just thinking, all this talk about the NSA, a year and a half ago, we'd sound like paranoid, crazy people talking about this, and now it's just like, yeah, you're right, they're probably doing that. Like, it's just amazing how far our realities stretch because of this.
I don't even care anymore at this point. I'm just like, whatever.
Sometimes I feel like I'm living in a dystopian novel or something. It's just crazy. Anyways,
I find it. I have to say that I get a lot of vindication from this, and any headline like this, I immediately send to my psychiatrist.
Yeah. See,
I think he owes me some money back.
You thought I was paranoid. I wasn't. This is all actually happening this whole time. Yeah.
Is there a Canadian version of the NSA?
Yeah.
Yes, there is. There's several.
Yeah, they're collaborating quite openly with the NSA as well.
It's CSIS, which is Canadian Security and Intelligence Services.
Mm-hmm.
There's military intelligence services. They have PSYOPs as well. And then there's the digital communications intelligence system.
Why do you have so many?
Same reason the States does.
Don't you only need one all-powerful, all-knowing hacking organization. You don't need so many.
NSA, CIA, FBI.
Well, the CIA and the FBI are kind of, I mean, they at least serve like functional purposes outside of like just spying on people in our country. You know, the NSA does nothing but just, they don't have any other purpose.
Yeah. I feel bad. I'm kind of ignoring the chat room this week, but the conversation's so much more engaging than usual with James gone that I just I'm too riveted to look. So sorry, guys.
That's almost a compliment. Thank you.
No.
I'm bored with Guy.
I'm not just being blatantly contradicted every point I make. It's kind of fun.
I miss Christian.
You miss Christian? We should have Christian on again soon too. Yeah, I like that guy.
Fuck that guy. I don't like him either. I didn't think you were gonna agree with me. I miss. Who would you not like? I don't know.
Not disliked any of our guests.
Well, I miss not having guests then.
Okay, well, I like that too.
God damn it!
No, yeah. LG smart TVs are reporting your TV habits and USB file names, even if you set that feature off. So that's kind of terrifying. I didn't see this story. What did you add this, Dave?
No.
Okay. We're really prepared today. Yeah. So good job, LG. That's terrifying. Horrible.
Doesn't that kind of speak to what I just said about these
yeah. The therapist thing again.
We're going to do it.
I mean, a lot of people use these smart TVs for, shall we say, files they acquired perfectly legal from services like No, that's not what they're using them for. When they plug in a USB drive, it's because they got a pirated movie on a disc they want to watch on their TV. But apparently there's information about that going somewhere. So,
smart TVs kind of suck. Their interfaces are garbage, most of them.
A TV is something you buy because it's a screen, right? And you expect it to last a good 10 years. So getting a smart TV with a piece of software that's going to be obsolete in 2 years is kind of a dumb idea, isn't it?
I mean, I don't know. I guess maybe because I live in a bubble, but I feel like everybody in the world has some type of device they can hook up to their TV that does what the smart TV does and does it better.
A lot of people don't, but certainly a superior device is not.
Everyone's got a Wii. That shit's got Netflix.
Yep.
I mean, they sold like 20 billion of those things.
Yeah.
With the Wii, you can put the what's that frickin'? I got a media server on there. Homebrew.
Homebrew, yeah. You can do a lot with Wii Homebrew. The only problem
but I feel like your average consumer who's actually like using a shitty interface on a smart TV is probably not smart enough to put
but there's a pretty good interface for Netflix and YouTube.
Yeah, Netflix. I think they even have Amazon thing now.
There's Amazon and Hulu all.
Yeah, so those all look at a billion times and load a billion times faster than the smart TVs. So I think smart TVs are just stupid novelties they put in there so they have something else to put on the box.
Yeah, seriously.
And now they're selling your information, so there you go. Stick with your non-smart TV.
Yeah. It's another form of obsolescence too. You know, got to upgrade now.
Yeah, upgrade your whole TV, where the main feature of the TV is that it's a screen. So it just seems kind of ridiculous to have hardware built into something, because the TV is something you should keep for years and years, longer than a game console even, really.
Back in my day, we used to have a device that we'd plug into the TV that would allow us to watch whatever we want. We used to call it VCR.
A VCR? Oh, but then you needed to have like a VHS tape, which you can now get at the Salvation Army for like $1. So if you're into that, this is the time of your life. You can get any movie you want for pennies on the dollar.
The Xbox One looks like a VCR, so.
That's true.
Fucking thing is the ugliest video game console I've ever seen.
Really? Moving right along here, Google is giving free debit cards for Google Wallet users in the U.S., meaning if you, for some reason, don't have a bank account or a credit card and want Google to have direct access to your financial information, you've got that option. Cool, I guess. Dave?
That.
I have the PayPal debit card. I guess it's kind of the same thing, right? I mean,
yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. A lot of services on the web use Google Wallet, and maybe some people get paid using Google Wallet instead of PayPal, so it could be a way to spend that money directly, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't like keeping my money. Do you keep your money in PayPal when you get paid?
No, I move it out as quickly as possible. They don't pay interest.
It's also not FDIC, like...
insured.
So PayPal would just be like, we're closing your account, and then your money's gone.
So all of us here at Make Use Of, for the record, we get paid via PayPal. So we usually have a bit of money in PayPal for a while. But, Guy, do you transfer it right away?
No, because I do all my online shopping using PayPal because I don't use credit cards.
You don't use credit cards, okay.
I usually leave like $500 in there, and that's like, this is what I can spend this month on bullshit, and then everything else gets transferred to my bank account where it can't be spent on bullshit.
Wow, you've got a huge bullshit budget.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
I buy a lot of video games.
Yeah, well, apparently. I buy like the Humble Bundle every.
I mean, I try not to spend all 500 of that.
Yeah,
that's the maximum.
But if you want to, it's there.
Yes.
I do kind of the same thing, but like it's never that much. It's maybe 200.
Yeah.
Didn't that happen recently that PayPal shut down a bunch of people's accounts and they were just like beat? Wasn't there like a big thing? Something happened and.
Yeah, people lost access to their money.
Yeah, it's happened quite a few times.
What? There was like a big wave of them within the last year, though. Like, what was it for?
I can't recall right now.
Was it the poker
I do remember
thing?
There was someone got a whole bunch of money from Kickstarter, and PayPal's just like, well, where'd you get all this money? You must be doing some kind of fraud. And lost access to the account for a while. So that's been happening from time to time.
Yeah.
But I don't know about that specifically. But I could see, I mean, there was the Planet Money podcast, which is from NPR, and if you don't listen to it, you should. They explain financial news in like straight terms. But they did a huge Kickstarter for a T-shirt, and then all of a sudden they had like $1 million in their PayPal account, and it just seemed fictional to see that kind of money there, you know.
Yeah.
No.
I refuse to listen to this stupid podcast you're talking about, though.
Why is that?
Because you recommended it, so it's obviously shit.
Yeah, well, I think this podcast is kind of terrible too.
Well, yeah, I agree.
Tiago A_PP on Twitter told us a Winamp is discontinued. Maybe content for Technophilia. It continues to kick the llamas and iTunes' ass, in my humble opinion. Yeah, thanks for the suggestion. We're on this. Winamp lovers want AOL to open source the software. I don't think it's going to happen. They're going to be afraid that the project will become successful without them, and they'll lose out on all that sweet, sweet Winamp cash. So they'd rather just kill it. What do you think's going to happen, Dave?
I have not used Winamp in like 8 years.
Yeah.
But I remember that I used to love it.
Mm-hmm.
You could put all kinds of cool skins on it, and you could play your songs on it.
For a lot of people, it was an introduction to customizable software because it had a massive repository of skins. There were tons of plugins you could use to make it do all kinds of things. Me and my college roommate had one where if you were playing the same album, the software would keep two computers in sync, so like we could make it even louder. Like, there was just a lot of like, if you could think of it, someone had made a plugin for it, you know.
But I think what happened is, like a lot of people, I got my first iPod and I switched. Then the iPod just works better with iTunes, and then I just never used Winamp again.
That's what happened. To
I hate iTunes. iTunes is such a clunky program that like uses all of your RAM, but
I used Winamp religiously until I switched to Linux. And then,
is there no Winamp for Linux? I guess Win is for Windows.
Yeah. So I think all of us have similar stories like that, though we just stopped using it at some point. Winamp in the early days, though, 99, it was that and Napster. That's how you listen to music, right? You grab it off Napster and then throw it into Winamp. It made playing MP3s easier than ever before.
Definitely.
Yeah. So did you stop using Winamp at some point too, Guy?
I think I still had it installed up until just recently, but
Yeah.
I don't know. There's only so much country music I can listen to in a day. So
You're a country music fan.
yeah, I don't know.
And a technology blogger. It's all making some kind of sense.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
No, but and what he says about iTunes is absolutely true. I mean, if iTunes was a desktop stereo, those packages would be like the one you got from Radio Shack.
Yeah.
Candle or a Yorks. Kick that shit out. I fucking hate iTunes.
Is VLC the Winamp of video?
I don't know about that.
Everybody loves it. No one ever complains about anything VLC does.
VLC is just easy to use, and it can play every format you throw at it.
Well, that's kind of like Winamp, right? It can play
Honestly,
any
what I use to play
type of
music right now, yeah, it's lightweight. It doesn't skip ever. I do all my music in VLC now.
I just use Spotify.
Use Spotify? Oh, directly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Subscription.
And it's easier than pirating music, and it's got a desktop program and a program for my phone and a program in my browser. I don't really know what else. It does everything I need to do.
Honestly, a lot of people are blaming AOL for Winamp's downfall.
AOL is responsible for the downfall of a lot of things.
I think Winamp lasted about 5 years longer than it would have if it had stayed an independent company. I think AOL is responsible for it staying alive as long as it did.
Probably right.
They really should open source it, though. I mean,
why not?
If they're not going to use it, then they're not going to make the money off it either way. So.
Open source it and give someone a chance to mirror the massive plugin repository.
Or sell the code off to some dude who's just like a Winamp fan who will keep
Rumor is Windows is interested. Rumor is Microsoft might get involved. So we'll see about that. Cool. I haven't seen that confirmed anywhere, but that's been popping up that Microsoft might buy Winamp. It might be a good way for them to prop up their. They've never had a really popular media player.
But they're just gonna make it all Windows 80 and bullshit.
You mean Zune wasn't popular?
What?
You mean Zune wasn't popular?
Oh, the Zune. The Zune was actually kind of awesome. I feel bad. They were just way late to the market.
And they got Xbox Music now.
Xbox Music. It might be a revival. I mean, people don't buy iPods all that often anymore because they just use their phone. So the Zune was just a couple years before that even happened. So they were just way off base there. It's amazing that the Xbox is their main hardware success I can think of.
I knew someone who had a Zune. I made fun of them all the time.
The mouse. They make good mice.
The mouse?
The Microsoft laser mouse.
Oh, they did make good mice. Yeah, you're right. Did they actually make that, though, or did they just stick their name on something someone else made?
Sure, they probably slapped their name on it.
They just slapped their name on the Xbox, really. They do the engineering design, and then they ship that over to wherever and have the little kids make it. And ship
that's how everyone...
Well, that's standard technology industry procedure.
There's only one technology company, and its name is Foxconn. Everything else is just branding. Yeah.
Did you guys hear a while back about Neil Young? He was working on an audio compression method that it was supposed to be pretty much lossless, but you would get about 10 times the compression ratio of the Ogg Vorbis.
Really?
Yeah.
And Neil Young has, we've reported this on the show before, stated very publicly that he thinks it's really sad how much audio quality you lose with technology like MP3.
Yeah.
So I could see why he'd be on that.
But just as a thought, maybe if he looked into getting Winamp himself and used that as the vehicle to drive his format,
maybe
he might now, sell another 10 million copies of Harvest Moon.
So Neil Young, if you're listening, and I know you are, that idea is free of charge. We just ask for a cut, I guess, of the company. Yeah, that's it.
I just, I don't ask for anything.
You don't ask for anything. No, you can do it. Do it, Neil. This is the most Canadian episode we've ever had. I'm loving this.
I'm so confused by all this nonsense.
Kashi points out that you can pay for Virgin Galactic seats with Bitcoin. So you can't influence the political process, but you can fly wherever you want. Oh no, you can fly into space.
You can fly into space, yes.
Space with Bitcoin. So yeah, I guess
compete on a theoretical service with a theoretical currency. Okay.
Yeah.
It all matches up.
You know what, Guy? All currency is theoretical.
Good point.
Deep.
It's not like there's some money that's backed by something of actual value at this point. It's all.
Whatever your age.
What?
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Money.
Money. Money is nothing. Money is nonsense.
Money.
I don't see why Bitcoin is any less valuable than the U.S. dollar.
Money, 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 money.
If people want it, it's worth something. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
Speaking of money, you can now. Well, this doesn't actually have anything to do with money.
What the hell are you trying to do right now?
I don't know.
Let's hear. Continue with that segue. I want to see where you're going.
Let's see where we're going with this.
Speaking of money,
advertisers make money, and Flipboard steals from sites so that no one gets any. But you can now use.
That was close enough.
On Windows 8.
Is it steal or is it fair use?
Almost brought that home. You know what? I remember. I own an Android tablet, and I remember when I first got it being really disappointed that I couldn't get Flipboard on there. I'm like, this is absurd. It's been a year and a half, and they don't have an Android version out. But apparently, I don't have the worst of it. Windows users have had to wait way longer. So I guess it just, I don't know, points to how behind the platform is at attracting the high-profile apps. Yeah. I don't know. Dave?
Flipboard is stupid.
Yeah. There was a good article not too long ago about how Flipboard basically just steals from content publishers.
Like everybody else, and yeah.
There was like a Flipboard-like thing on that Galaxy Note 10.1 14 edition, you know, that really well-named tablet. Yeah. And I was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. I don't like this at all. It's just a bunch of squares and pictures, and I was like, why wouldn't I?
I will say Flipboard for Facebook is actually a better interface than the official Facebook app. You just kind of flip through, and you see the posts as you go by, and there's no ads. So I liked it for that. I don't think I like reading on it on a regular basis. But it's great if you just...
simple RSS reader, not...
Yeah.
I don't need it to be all visualized and pretty. I'm not 90s. I'm not 90. I can read small text.
Yeah, give me a feeling.
I really do prefer flipping by every single headline. Like when I add something to RSS, it's because I want to at least read part of every article from this site, you know. But Flipboard's more like, oh, these are some sites I'm kind of interested in sometimes. I can throw them in there, and if I'm bored, flip through it. The problem is I'm so rarely bored at this point. I don't have time to be bored, so I don't have time for Flipboard.
Flipboard, get it? It's got board in the name.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That was pretty
Speaking of things with board in the name.
Yeah, Android. No.
Wait, what?
How do you pronounce this? I don't even know. Cyanogenmod. Cyanogenmod.
That sounds good.
We mentioned a couple weeks ago that they're becoming a company instead of just a community of hackers, and they're going to make replacing your stock Android simple, meaning if you've got a device your hardware manufacturer is no longer keeping up to date, you can install Cyanogenmod on it. Cyanogen?
Yeah, we'll go with that. Sure.
Melonmod. And yeah, it's... So until now, if you wanted to install an alternative version of Android on your device, it's pretty complicated. You go to the XDA developers forum and you would just see a whole bunch of nonsense and try to figure out what it all means. MakeUseOf did put out a manual that kind of explains it. You can check that out at makeuseof.com/pages. You'll find it if you scroll down. And it really, I'm proud of it because it really does simplify a lot of these terms, but we had to include a massive glossary just to explain half of what's going on. So this new software from the developers of one of the most popular alternative versions of Android you can install on devices just guides you through the process step by step. You need a Windows computer and a USB cable, and other than that, not much. The problem is it might be too simple for some, and it doesn't clearly state that the process isn't entirely reversible. So, yeah. Have you checked this out yet, Dave?
What the hell would I do with this?
I guess you don't have an Android device. I was going to look Android because my tablet was running like crap, but it's running really well lately, and I don't want to mess with it.
This sounds kind of like that noob thing for the Raspberry Pi, where it's just like, you've heard of that? Instead of like all the nonsense of trying to complicatedly install like Linux or XBMC on it, it's just like you just put noob on the thing and then just click some buttons and it does it all for you. This is like that for Androids.
Yeah, sort of. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it if you have a brand new Android that's running well, but if you've got an old Android and you can't install apps anymore because it's not supported, you should look into this. It might give you new life on a device.
I've got an old tablet. I'll have to look into that, give that a shot. Maybe there's
Yeah.
there's something.
See if it's supported though.
It's probably not supported.
It's pretty easy, step-by-step instructions. Okay, so the PlayStation made big headlines by selling over 1 million units in the first day, blowing records set by the likes of the Wii out of the water. Xbox, of course, failed to do that, right, Dave?
No, they succeeded, but they cheated.
They succeeded, but they cheated. How did they cheat?
Because the PlayStation 1 sold one, or PlayStation 1, what the fuck? The PlayStation 4 sold 1 million in North America only, and the Xbox One released in a bunch of territories in Europe as well. So they sold about the same amount of units, but it was spread out around the world.
James in the chat room is like, I can't respond to this stuff. Well, you could have come on the show. You could have. You could have suffered through the cold.
He says we're not nerdy or we're not geeky or something. I don't know what he means.
We're not geeky.
We're not geeking out about the technical aspects. We're just talking about the societal implications. He doesn't like that.
On a computer, how much geekier do you get?
Yeah.
I mean, what technical implications are there of Flipboard? It's a bullshit, stupid thing for old people. Man, but the coding to make that, they gotta use those if-then statements and da 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 da.
I'm
happy, James.
Regular expressions.
So that's not really much of a story on the Xbox One. Good for them. They sold 1 million also. Again, I think the more impressive part of that is the fact that they managed to make 1 million and have them ready for day one, just like with Sony. At this point in time, the consoles are going to sell. They're both going to sell whatever they make. So.
Yeah, that's impressive enough. And yeah, we'll see. I think gamers are so ridiculously easy about spending their money that they'll probably just buy both. I don't know.
I only bought one now.
I'm going to invest money in apartment buildings where you have one single room with broadband, and basically the entire room is just also functions as a bathroom, kitchen, and shower, and you can just sit there and game. We'll have all
bachelor pad.
Living in their little Xbox worlds. And
call it B-pad.
Yeah.
Sure, give it like a real techie name, yeah.
So they never have to leave. They can just, they can shit on the floor and it showers out. And
yeah, we talked a while ago about, what was it? There's a company making a food alternative that has a really creepy name. Soylent. So you can just have like a pipe of Soylent coming in so that people don't even have to look for food. It just comes to them.
Yeah, what it'll essentially be is veal cages for humans. Yeah.
Yeah. That is about as close to being encapsulated in the Matrix as possible.
Pretty much, yeah.
Technology, yeah.
We'll tell you what to think about the news.
There you go. What else do you need? Yeah. I mean, you could probably do that if you just kept... As long as when a new console came out, it was there, people would probably live like that.
Probably some, yeah, I could see that.
Submit your gaming stories now, James says. We're out of them. Yeah, we're totally out. We're done with gaming.
There was like nothing going on in the game because everyone's just playing. Everyone's playing their consoles, yeah.
You just paid a crap ton for a console that there aren't any games for yet. Good.
I don't know if this is considered news, but the new Mario game is supposed to be fucking amazing, and so is the new Zelda game.
Which one's that?
Super Mario 3D something, 3D Land or World.
I thought I'd heard mixed reviews.
This punching blocks never gets old.
This what?
Punching blocks never gets old.
That's true.
Apparently the game is just, they do a lot of creative stuff with it. It's from the Galaxy team.
Oh, yeah. Super Mario Galaxy is amazing.
So, and then the new Zelda, which is like the return to Link to the Past.
For the DS.
For the DS is also very good. Where have you been hearing mixed reviews? I just look on Game Rankings. It has a 94.86 average.
I don't know. I just have been hearing...
That don't sound very mixed to me.
A lot of people saying that. I just wish Nintendo would go back to being creative, but it sounds like they are, so there you go.
I mean, that's like, that puts it in like the 16th highest reviewed game of all time.
Okay, well, we'll see how this works. Nintendo reviews always get really high ratings, and some people say it's just the nostalgia value alone.
Well, I don't know. Apparently this game is just very, very well done.
Yeah, I mean, Super Mario Galaxy was amazing, so if it's the team from that, I mean, that was just a perfect blend of familiar elements with brand new, incredibly trippy ones, and yeah.
Which is kind of, I guess, what this is. That's what everyone says. So it kind of makes me wish I had a Wii U to play it, but I'm not going to go spend $300 on a Wii U when I just spent $500 on it.
The Wii U might. I'm seeing a lot of people reviewing the Wii U a year later saying, you know what, this is actually pretty good. This is a solid console. you should get it.
All it took was Mario. A good Mario, not the new Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, well, the side scrollers are fun for what they
Shut
are.
up, guy.
Yeah. Anyways, moving right along to what you've been using. I got the Humble Mobile Bundle 3 for my birthday over the weekend because my mom loves me. And if you haven't checked this out yet, you should. It is worth getting for what's it called? Fishing. Ridiculous Fishing.
Oh, I love that game. I have it on my iPhone. So much fun.
Yeah, so there's an Android version out now, and you can get it right now with Humble Mobile Bundle 3. DRM free, so you can just stick it on there. It also comes with a Rhymed Capsule, which is a strategy game that you place Tetris pieces onto a grid for in order to build different things, and it's a ton of fun. So
I want to see someone take 2 shots of rye and say Humble Mobile Bundle 3.
Humble Mobile.
I always get mad when they do that.
Rye, to translate Canadian to normal people, is slang for whiskey. Yeah.
I always get mad when they do the mobile bundles because I don't have an Android and I buy all the Humble bundles, but when it's a mobile one, I can't buy it.
Well, I've got an Android tablet. Notable inclusion is Desert Bus, which is possibly the least interesting game of all time. You drive a bus from Las Vegas to LA, and that's it.
How do you have time for all
made in the mid-'90s. I'm not even joking. By Penn and Teller, they pitched the idea, had it made, but it was so boring that no one bought it. But it became popular on torrent sites, and now there's a charity that resells it. So that's there. And I'm really, really enjoying Ridiculous Fishing, though. That game is crazy addictive. Yeah.
What game?
So check it out.
Fishing?
What?
Ridiculous Fishing.
Ridiculous Fishing. So you have to steer by tilting your device.
It's just awesome. It's just a weird, awesome
pull
game.
The fish up, so as the line's going up, you got to pull as many fish out, and then they splash out of the water, and you pull out a shotgun, and you got to.
Here's an idea.
Yeah.
Go fishing.
No, you know what? That sounds boring. This game's awesome.
What could possibly be boring about? Okay, so here's your options. You can stand there looking at a little telephone or tablet, looking like an idiot, or you can stand on the side of the river with a rod and look like an idiot.
Well, Ridiculous Fishing lets you shoot the fish with guns.
Yeah.
We do that, like
hundreds and thousands.
I don't know how they roll up in the
How's this
Atlantic provinces. Yeah.
Goddamn Canada.
Obviously never heard of telephoning fish.
You know what? I'm terrified of fishing rods. I'm starting to get over it, but when I was a kid, I had someone embed a fishing hook in my nose, and then...
Ow! I've always been afraid of that happening.
Someone cast it off and embedded it in my forehead. They thought they casted it really, really far. I was standing right behind. Like, well,
I didn't think that actually ever happened.
Happened to me twice in the same week, and I've been hesitant about the whole fishing thing ever since.
You might want to try
I would probably be hesitant too. Damn, son. That's fucked up.
It is.
Fucked up.
I quickly wanted to mention that I'd read The Circle by Dave Eggers over the weekend. Have you heard of this book?
I don't know what book. What's a book?
Okay.
Book.
It's like a movie with words.
Oh, shit.
That's how we used to kill trees.
Yeah. This is, it's a dystopia, basically, but it's set in like a modern Silicon Valley company. It's the startup mentality, the let's change everything with technology mentality taken to its logical extremes, where nothing is private, everything you do is public. Politicians in this world put cameras around their neck to record everything they do, because if you don't, what are you trying to hide from your constituents? It's just a ridiculous, slight exaggeration of what's going on with technology right now, and it makes for a fascinating read.
Is it ridiculous, or is it prophetic?
You know what? It doesn't even seem that ridiculous. Everything follows from an internal consistency. The only problem I have is that people just put up with it and don't question it, but then I see the people's reaction to the NSA spying in general, and I'm like, okay, maybe they would put up with this. So yeah, it's The Circle is basically a company that buys out Google, buys out Facebook, just combines everything under one floor, and just really believes in radical transparency, believes everyone should have the right to see everything all the time, because if you're hiding something, theft is privacy is the Orwellian phrase they use.
You know what? Sometimes people don't hide things for their own protection, but they hide things for the protection of others. Now, case in point, I'm wearing a shirt.
Yeah.
I'm hiding something for your protection.
Yeah, but it's for my protection, yeah. It's so I don't have to see
Nobody wants to see that.
Yeah. That makes sense to me. There's an internal logic there. Yeah.
Sort of. It'll pass for logic today.
Yeah. Anyways, I'd say this is worth picking up at the library or whatever if you want a good read. I don't know if it will have the staying power of a book like 1984. I think that's what it's going for. But I think the issues it addresses in this hypothetical future are simply too tied to where we are right now as a culture to resonate much longer than the next couple years. But worth a read, worth thinking about. I'd like to know your thoughts about the book, so get in touch if you have any, and we'll talk about them.
Our listeners don't read.
Some of our listeners read.
Type.
What is James saying about what is Dave Prack saying about the make use of gaming editor? Did I say something wrong?
I don't know. I don't know what he's saying. You can get the same feeling playing Desert Bus with basically. No, that's Wolfie. I don't know what he's talking about.
And then but down later, Dave says the make use of gaming editor, everyone.
Yeah, and
because I didn't do a good enough job of describing why Mario's good, I haven't played it.
Well, he's just heard that there's good reviews is all.
And I looked up said reviews, and they were good.
You know what? The chat room's always right. I think we're going to stick with that.
You know, chat room, buy me a Wii U, and then I will play it.
Which console would you buy, Dave?
Scutterman says he's banking on some form of apocalypse before privacy invasion gets too serious.
So, all right. So
I don't know if that's optimistic or pessimistic.
Dave asks a question, and he asks it in the form of a hypothetical, but it's not a hypothetical because I actually made that choice. Which console would you buy, having played both? The answer is the Xbox One because that is the one that I bought.
You didn't buy the PS4?
No, I decided to only keep one of them because I didn't want to spend $400 extra. So
that was bullshit.
For me, all the extra stuff for the Xbox One, the ability to hook it up to the cable box and use the TV, all that stuff, use it as my cable box, so I get rid of the god-awful Comcast interface. You know, I don't know if you guys have ever used it.
So you can use it as a cable box.
Well, you hook it has a HDMI in, so you hook up your cable box to it. So you're still getting your signal from the cable box, but you change the channels and see the guide through
within their
Xbox One, which is obviously it's an interface developed by a company who actually knows how to develop interfaces.
Yeah,
so it's
Comcast cable company user interfaces are just awful.
Trash. Yeah. They're just slow and ugly. So there's that. That's
really
cool.
Modern and up to date. The TV guide. We should model our user interface after those boxes they used to put in the corner of the newspaper. That's a really
So there's that, and I mean the voice control stuff actually works fairly well 90% of the time, and it's very cool. You know, it's being able to walk in. Feels like the future when you walk into your living room and you say Xbox on, and then Xbox play Forza Motorsport 5, and then you're in the game, and then it's cool. So
you don't have kids, do you?
No, fuck that.
That's what you do. When you have kids,
children.
When you have kids, that's what you do. You walk in, you turn the fucking TV on. You go cook.
Your kids are your Xbox One?
Pretty much, yeah.
You have voice command in your house because you just... I love this. I love your analog solution to everything that's being done with expensive technology. You're just like, oh, get away. What's your problem? We have this.
Dave asked if the TV stuff is good outside the States. I assume it would be. I mean, that's like the main feature they're touting on the One, and they released it outside the States. I can't imagine they would release it and be like, yeah, but we released it without the big feature that we've been pushing, so sorry, guys.
Part of the selling point was you could say, like, I want to watch Seinfeld, and it would show you places online where you could watch Seinfeld, say Netflix, as well as showing you, oh, wait, Channel 26.
Right. So you'd say Xbox Bing, and then it would open up the search thing, and then you'd say Seinfeld, and then it would show you anywhere that has Seinfeld. That works for movies, too.
Okay.
But I also like with the way the cable boxes are structured now, I cannot with the HD channels being up in like the thousands, I can't remember what channel is what. So if I just go and I say
watch the non-HD version of a channel. Like,
that's the other thing too. The Xbox automatically, if it detects duplicates and automatically blocks the standard definition channels. But like I can't remember what channel AMC is when I want to watch The Walking Dead because it's like 1,200 and something. So I just walk into the room and say Xbox watch AMC, and then it just puts on AMC.
And memorizing numbers was a lot easier when I was a kid because there were like 10 channels.
Right, and they were all 1 through 100 basically. So
Yeah.
it was like there was like a certain logic or structure to it. Now it all seems so arbitrary. So
Yeah.
so I know everybody says that the PS4 does like the native 1080p, and side by side, I mean, I'm not like enough of a videophile to be able to tell the difference between 900 that a lot of the Xbox games are outputting in 1080. So
It's just because you haven't bought a big enough television yet.
I had a 55-inch TV. But you gotta like literally, you gotta go count you gotta count pixels to do that. Like they both look really fucking good. That's all I care about. The graphics look great on both consoles. That's good enough for me. So
well, we'll see what happens as this goes on. I mean, Microsoft took a lot of flack for their release, but they've undone pretty much all the unpopular features, and a lot of the popular ones are still pretty cool. So,
and if you want to know more,
yeah,
there's a PlayStation 4 review that was just submitted yesterday, which will be going up on the site probably Friday, and there is an Xbox One review which will be submitted Tuesday of next week, which will probably be going up the following Friday. And in those reviews, you can win one.
You can win one of these devices. So
the PlayStation will come with a copy of Killzone Shadow Fall, and the Xbox One will come with a copy of Forza Motorsport 5.
I really love
those are the games I chose for you, so enjoy.
I really love the announcer voice you just turned on there. That's
right.
Great. Yeah.
You're
Or you the guy?
He's our voiceover guy now.
Yeah.
Marketing.
Yeah. That's pretty great. When you log on to makeuseof.com, it's just Dave going, "Welcome to makeuseof.com."
We have all of your technology needs covered, but mostly just go to the gaming section, because who cares about the rest of it?
Yeah, that's not going to go over well. Yeah. Hey, Guy.
Yes.
Thanks for stopping by. This has been a lot of fun.
Glad you had me.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it, and I think that's it for the episode.
Cool.
I want to thank everyone for hanging out in the chat room, and everyone who's listening on the audio right now, maybe a week later, you can listen live and talk back to us. Sometimes we'll even respond at makeuseof.com every Wednesday mornings. It's at 12 o'clock Atlantic time.
Yeah, way to say the time zone that no one knows.
Or 11 a.m. Eastern.
like 4 p.m. UTC.
There you go. There you go. Something like that. You can keep up with us throughout the week and about 10,000 other Technophiliacs at facebook.com/Technophilia Podcast. Or if you prefer Twitter because you're smart, you can follow us at The Technophilia. You can follow Dave at Cydox. You can follow me at JHPod. And Guy, what's your handle?
Oddly enough, it's just at Guy McDowell.
Wow, that's pretty great. At Guy McDowell. So
I used to have at Dave LeClaire, and I gave it away in favor of at Cydox, and sometimes I regret that decision.
Yeah.
I really had to lay stake on Guy McDowell because there is another Guy McDowell, believe it or not.
I'll believe it. I believe it.
And he's a he's the antithesis of me. He's athletic and young and smart and played college ball, and I just didn't want to get confused with him.
Yeah. So you wanted to.
You don't want to be associated with that kind of scum.
No, fuck no. Just lay it down as it is.
Yeah. Okay. Well, now you know how to keep in touch. We're gonna switch gears now. We're ending the show. Show's over, and now this is the part where I design the art for the week. So, chat room, what do we got? The title and art for this week's episode.
Technology nudes.
Technology nudes? I don't. What? We're gonna show like the inside of a PS4.
That's what that was my first thought. What is that?
We could do that.
Slow down.
The NerdCube video about Desert Bus. He went through the entire 8 hours. Holy crap! I don't want to see that. I'm being accused of being rude for cutting you off, Guy. I just. It's hard to express how weird the lag is with Google Plus. It's a fine line.
Yeah.
So
I don't just cut people off on purpose. So
yeah. You just did.
There you go.
He's the American in the crew, so he's the rude one automatically.
Yeah, I mean, I am the resident asshole here, so.
Sorry for saying sorry. Sorry.
Sorry, guys.
I've always my whole life said I can't hear the Canadian accent, like I don't know the difference, because when I go to the States, people sound more or less normal. It's where I live now, right? But
I
talking
like
to
how
you
we have
guys-
two completely opposite opinions in the chat. We have title, We Need James, and then immediately followed by title, Better Than James.
James. How about we just do both with a dash?
We need no better than James.
We already did Something Is Missing, Kashi. It was when you weren't here. We can't do that again.
Stupid Kashi. Koshi. Karshi. Whatever your name is.
We could
So,
do...
You know what we missed? You know what we missed for big news?
what's
no.
that?
Brian's dead.
Oh, yeah. I saw that.
What?
The
Brian.
Family Guy dog.
He died?
Yeah.
Killed him.
I don't watch Family Guy. Okay. He was the worst, wasn't he?
And now there's all kinds of, like, petitions and stuff for people to try to bring him back, and
You think PETA's going to get in on that?
yeah, I don't know.
I'm just surprised that Family Guy did something that implies an ongoing plot.
Yeah, you know, speaking of which, can we talk? Have we talked about the incredible run of episodes South Park is on right now?
I almost mentioned it during the show, but yeah, they've got the kids.
God, they are
fighting
really on their game with this
Black Friday
console
war.
war Black Friday thing. I mean, this is the best episode of South Park I've seen in like 6 years.
Wow. I didn't even know.
The season was garbage before that too. So
Yeah, this season has been pretty bad. But yeah, this run's pretty good. I don't know if it's the best one in years. And you know what it might be, because it's been pretty bad in the past years.
it's been pretty bad in the past years, and these are very. I mean, they are really.
The best episode of South Park in years is the musical they've got on Broadway, right? Like,
They
your
they
attention
are
has been elsewhere. Yeah.
they are really capturing the essence, the bullshit essence of these console wars.
Yeah. And then Bill Gates is getting involved. He's giving everyone guns so that they could get to Black Friday and get but only one gun and only limited bullets because they respect the safety of their.
Of course, they kill Balmer. He kills Balmer.
I really. Oh, yeah. Balmer's like in his office. Well, no, we're not going to get involved in these silly console wars. And Bill Gates shows up and he's like, "We're not blowing this."
Yeah.
Like, what do we do? What do we do? We do better than James. Should we just put Guy's face up there?
Console wars are so dumb, though. It's in everyone's interest for both consoles to do well. I never understood the I want the PS4 to fail because I bought an Xbox One. No, I want both consoles to sell bajillions of units, and I want the game industry to make ass tons of money, so developers have money to make more awesome games.
Right. Exactly. That's a healthy.
So that way I can
Yeah.
keep my job as gaming editor. If there's no
It's not
games, I don't have anything to edit.
I don't know. Can we use a picture of you, Guy? Like, what are we going to do here?
Oh.
Title because James.
Because James.
What if
You had some great lines in there, Guy. That was a lot of fun.
we do something about James being a wuss?
I imagine what you could have done if you had more than 20 minutes to prepare.
If I would have been worse, because too much time to prepare is like a curse. You know, you end up
that's your
overthinking
philosophy.
everything.
You're both making one fatal error here. You're assuming I would prepare.
That's true. That's like implying that I prepare before the show.
I'm the one that prepares for the show.
I wake up at 10 o'clock and I put together the post for Make Use Of, and then I go take a poop, and then I come back and start the show at 11. And that's my prep.
I found out it was going to be on. I rush to the washroom and make sure my hair is all nicely brushed and everything. Then I show up and,
And then you see my hair and you're like, what the hell was the point of that?
Exactly, yeah.
Well,
I still
he could
think of
get
this
his
as a
next
radio
big break
show.
on this show. The modeling agencies are just going to come calling.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Why
gonna be
not? I'd make a great...
1 DTC equals 1 ass ton.
Have you guys heard of these things? I don't know if they're new or not. They're new to me. You plug it into your power outlet, and then you plug it into your router through Ethernet, and then it somehow magically routes wired internet through your house through your power outlets.
Yes, that's been around for approximately 20
Yeah,
years.
that's been around
Dude,
a
this
long
is like
time.
the fucking awesomest thing I've ever seen. How did I not know about these things?
I've heard about this. Yeah, we actually I used to work for an IT shop around town here, and we set that up for someone because they had like marble walls or something, so Wi-Fi was just not working.
Part of the issue though is that there's a lot of noise on your power lines, so you do need to do some heavy power conditioning on the lines to get a clear, good signal.
Yeah, but if Wi-Fi, I mean, if you can get a good Wi-Fi signal throughout your entire house, there's not a lot of point to it, right? But if you can't, it's a good alternative.
Well, isn't Ethernet generally faster than wireless?
Yeah, but not necessarily over the power line.
They have one on here I'm looking at, $37 for two of them, for one to go, to be the receiver from the outlet, and one to go to your wherever you want it for $37, and it's a 500 megabit one.
The speed is good, but you're going to drop so many packets it isn't funny.
Yeah, because
they say these are like supposed to be better for gaming, but maybe not.
Fuck, everything's better for gaming if you want to make money.
Well, these were like not on their ad. This is like what I was reading from
gaming slippers. These slippers will make your gaming much better. Hey.
They literally sold
like
gaming
these slippers.
Had speakers in them.
It's the official gaming slippers. Look at that.
There you go.
I got these at TJ Maxx for $8.
Well, we had a suggestion for the art that just says James is dead and then have a picture of Brian the dog, kind of tying everything together.
Yeah, I don't know if we can use a picture of Brian the dog. Is that legal?
Yeah, he's in the news.
Just throw James's head on him. And then you're not really using Brian, you're using 2/3 and it's a parody.
It's a parody.
Yeah, put James's head on the dog. I like that.
And put poop in there just for the hell of it. Just poop. Just whatever.
Poop makes everything better.
I know I feel better when I have a poop. Do you ever have those really big poops? I call them soul poops. Where you
my goodness.
Like
I thought you'd be like the classy addition to the show. Bring us up a level.
I think we've all been there. We've all done that.
Tried real hard to keep this above board, guys. I really have.
I brought the wrong.
Justin, haven't you ever read that book when you were a kid? Everybody Poops?
Oh yeah, who wrote that?
Or the
I don't fucking know who wrote it.
Woods?
It was like, it had like 4 words in it. It was about everybody poops.
Yeah.
There's an episode of Bear in the Big Blue House called Everybody Poops.
What is Bear in the Big Blue House?
You don't have kids. You don't know yet.
I know the Bernstein Bears.
It's a Jim Henson creation thing.
Didn't he die like a long time ago or something?
Yeah, he did.
It's an old show.
Oh, it's old?
Well, no, I don't think it's that old, but it's...
It wasn't around when I was a kid. I don't remember it.
No, it wasn't.
I'm still pretty young, I think.
Like, great, now we're getting tons of poop-related suggestions.
Yeah, once you bring up like poop or like sex, that's all we get in the suggestions. Is like,
name the episode Penis Farts.
Name it James and the Giant Porn.
Name it Free Porn Download.
James is dead. That's actually pretty good with the picture of Brian, though.
Would a penis fart feel good or bad?
What?
Would a penis fart feel good or bad?
Bad. Your penis is not made to fart, so I would imagine it would hurt.
You know.
Well, but sometimes you really have to pee, and you wish you could. Holy crap! I'm doing this.
Dude, so can I just say? Let me say one thing though about the PS4 real quick. I just want to say this is.
I heard PS. I'm like, what?
To take it back onto a subject that might be relevant to the people still here. The PS4's implementation of Twitch for streaming is the best implementation of Twitch I've ever seen in my life. It is. They have made it so easy for like your average idiot to hit 2 buttons and start streaming on Twitch. I am blown away with how easy they made that. Sony is not known for making good anything involving internet necessarily compared to Microsoft, but they absolutely killed that. So good for Sony.
Yay, Sony.
Bring it back to the subject for a second of not poop. Now back to our regularly scheduled poopcast.
Okay, here's what I've got.
No, that's bad. You suck. You should feel shame.
What should I do?
I'm just kidding. It's fine.
I'm addicted to drop shadows because
everybody likes drop shadows.
Flat design is for losers.
Windows users.
I'm too lazy to drop shadow. I'm just gonna leave everything flat. You know.
Did you buy that copy of Photoshop, Justin?
It looks legit to me.
I acquired it legally.
How do you acquire a legal copy of Photoshop without paying?
Academic connections make it a little easier.
Can you connect me with your academics?
Not really.
You are a fucking worthless bastard.
You know why Photoshop's so expensive? They only sell 3 copies a year.
Because everyone else pirates it.
But isn't it like a subscription now or something?
Yeah, you can't buy it anymore. You can still buy like copies that were out there in the retail world, but yeah, it's a subscription service.
It's a weird thing. We had a big blow up on Make Use of about that. Remember? I lost my fucking mind in the comments. On all
You
parents.
lost your mind in the comments, or someone did?
Totally did. I totally did.
What did you? I can't remember.
Oh, I just went off on Adobe because I used to be a Cold Fusion developer.
Oh, okay.
So the whole Adobe Macromedia layer thing, you know, I have issues with Adobe.
Okay.
You know, for a second when you said you used to be a Cold Fusion developer, I thought you meant like scientist working on Cold Fusion. I was gonna be like, wow, that's some really important work, guy.
It is, you know. I decided to slow things down, step it down a notch. It was too high stress.
Yeah, saving the world and generating unlimited energy sounds like a real arduous process.
I mastered 0 point energy. I'm going to move on to writing for Make Use of now.
You really
been doing podcasts from your office at work, apparently.
Yeah, I'm probably going to get fired.
Can the PS4 poop? Does the PS4 poop better than the Xbox One?
Oh my god. We've got James's dead. We're going with Brian the dog. If Fox wants to take us on for this, it's newsworthy. He's in the news this week for dying.
James and the giant poop.
So there we go. I'm gonna make the James. What? Really?
That's a lot of drop shadow, Justin. That's like all shadow. The whole.
I don't know. I should play with it some more.
Covered in shadow.
And it all was covered in shadow.
It's like.
Man. It was pretty sad when Brian died, though. Stewie was very upset about it. Spoilers.
I believe that's like Stewie's only friend. I can't believe he died.
But then they get a new dog named Vinny.
When did this happen? Was that this? Just
the last episode, yeah.
Huh.
And Vinny's like a wisecracking mafia dog.
So basically, he's Brian, but with a New Jersey accent.
He's played by the guy, one of the guys.
McFarlane got to pull out one of his accents.
He's played by one of the guys. No, it's actually he's played by one of the guys from The Sopranos.
Oh, really?
It's the one with the what's his name? Hold on, yeah, I gotta find him. Paulie. It's Tony Sirico.
Oh, really?
Sirico.
Okay. I just can't believe that show's on. You know, this is an example of Fox canceled the show, and then everyone was mad, so they brought it back. In retrospect, probably would have been better if it never came back. All the good episodes happened before.
Have you ever looked at Seth MacFarlane's IMDb for that show?
He does like everything, doesn't he?
It's pretty impressive, the list. I mean, he plays like a few main characters and then just like a bajillion other characters.
Two of which have the exact same voice, the doctor and the father-in-law.
Yeah. He played a lot of...
It's not even like subtle. They're just the same voice.
Can't say I've noticed that. Now that's all I'm going to notice.
What?
Now that's all I'm going to notice when I watch that.
The doctor and the father-in-law have the same voice, yeah. I think they finally put them in the room at the same time not so long ago and made fun of the fact that their voices sound the same.
Does anybody here watch Grimm?
Grimm? No.
Grimm. No.
How is it? I know the concept.
It's alright. It's good. It's just one of those shows where it's an example of I noticed something about someone and I just fucking ruin the show for everybody else.
That's terrible.
Character on there named Juliet, her one eye, just slightly, just a little slight cockeyed. Fucking ruined it.
I was
ruined it for you. You can't pay attention now.
I was at my dad's yesterday, and apparently Seth MacFarlane has like a new show that's like has humans in it. It's not like a cartoon.
How do you do Cold Fusion? You take normal fusion and do it in Canada. Nice one. Turning off screen share. Gonna log into some secret stuff. Yeah, I think we've got the art here. I'll stick it in the chat room.
On Linux, are you? Because the NSA knows what you just logged into.
I'm on a Mac, so...
So nobody cares what you logged into.
Yeah, because everyone cares about Linux users.
Those Linux
users I miss using Linux, but I like being able to use all the software I need to do my job.
sometimes I just go into the command shell on Windows and play around to pretend I'm in Linux.
The command shell.
I don't do that.
The command shell in Linux is, and the Mac is a lot better. Though, like you can't do much in Windows with the command line anymore.
No, true enough.
You can make it advanced though. So I just sent the links in the chat room. Dave, can you grab them from there, or you want them in an email?
No, they're fine there. I don't care where you put them. You put them on. You upload them to the site anyway, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I just want.
Well, then you don't even need to send them to me because they're on the site.
Okay, cool.
You guys know what Technophilia is, right?
Yeah, it's that thing that comes with the Xbox One that you tell it to turn the Xbox on.
Technophilia? No, I mean the one that helps you to create an ad hoc Wi-Fi sharing.
With file sharing? No, I'm not familiar with this one.
Technophilia. Wi-Fi sharing. It's a program that helps you set up Wi-Fi sharing on your Windows machine.
Just kind of like AirDrop for Mac.
Yeah, well, sure. But just to say that, like, you can do a lot of cool stuff in the command line with Windows. I created a batch file that does the same thing Technophilia does.
Nice. I wrote some batch files once. I can't remember what they did now.
I love batch files.
You can do quite a bit with it. It's just, in a Linux system, there's so many commands you can use to build the batch file. Like, there's a lot to work with.
Yeah.
I did install wget on my Windows computer because I was sick of not having that. I love wget. That's just a perfect piece of software. So simple.
What's wget?
It's a command line program for downloading anything.
I don't know how to use a command line. I'm not smart enough for that.
So one of the things is if you find like an FTP directory and you just want to quickly grab all the files from it, you can do it in a quick command. And you can also use it to download individual files, and it'll like remember how far you are if you shut it down and all that. It's a really good piece of software that I've never found a GUI program better than it. So there is some stuff from the command line that's really good.
You know what we need a guide for? We need to make use of guide on Telnet.
For Telnet. I've only used it ever for the text, the ASCII version of Star Wars.
That's all anybody knows it from, right?
That's all I know, Telnet.
140 Telnet.
We should make a guide for developing a game in Unity and have the writer actually like throw together a quick game and then write a guide about it.
Have you been reading my emails? Because I literally had a conversation with someone about that yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are we going to do it? Because it's a pretty good idea.
It's going to be done sometime in January, I think.
Who's going to do it?
His name is Andre Infante. He's from New Mexico, and he's written a guide for us over the summer. But he's actually working on a game in Unity, and he's just going to write it. You need to know some programming to do it, so we're going to keep that in mind.
You do need to know some, but you don't need to be like a
the guide's going to try to make it so that if you don't know programming, you can get an overview of the process. But if you know programming, C# specifically, you should be able to follow along and do it.
That sounds good. See? Great minds think alike, bro.
Yeah. So that's really funny. I literally, so with the manual pitch, and if anyone's listening and wants to do one sometime, you just gotta send me an email with a pitch for a manual you'd like to write, and then I'll usually, if I like the pitch, I'll request a table of contents, and then I'll talk on Skype, much like this, about each individual chapter, just kind of go through it. So yeah, I just had that conversation yesterday, so really fresh in my mind still.
That's funny that I just happened to. I was thinking about it yesterday. I was like, we should do a Unity guide where the writer actually makes a game, and then we can post the game at the end of it, and it's like them chance to promote their game and. Yeah.
So I don't know if he's going to make a full game or just demonstrate a few basic things and point it out, because you don't want to do like a full game in the context of a manual necessarily.
Well, you could do like a little game, like a little Pong clone or a a little breakout.
That's what I said. Make a 3D Pong clone. That could be awesome, and just really demonstrate it. Yeah.
Cool.
It's a good first proof of concept. But, Pong, the people who own Pong sue people. We have to shut it down. Anyways, Guy, I should let you go. I think we're good here. Is the chat room dead? Is the chat room dead?
What?
Stay in the chat room to hear that asked about 20 times. I like how there's someone in the chat room claiming to be me. No, that's new. Have they said anything?
They type the same thing you type?
No? Interesting. Anyways. Take care, everyone. Have a good week.
See you later. Guy, thank you very much for coming in the last minute. We appreciate it.
We definitely need to have you on again. That was a lot of fun.
I can't talk to Justin for an hour. Just Justin. I'll kill myself.
Yeah.
And I think
once it was just James and Dave, and I listened to that on a bus in Malaysia, and it was one of the most surreal experiences of my life.
People did say that episode was good, though.
Yeah, no, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
Just surreal. I'm just.
But it was incredibly disorganized because, I mean, me and James we don't do organized. We just do what Justin says.
Yeah, the average episode is me talking a bunch and them reacting. So hearing them try to do the show and then also being completely surrounded by unfamiliar things, it was just a really weird experience.
God, remember the episode where James hosted, though? How bad was that?
Oh my goodness!
Like, I
Everyone
always
in the
did a
chat
pretty
room just kept
good
saying,
job
"This
of
feels-"
keeping everything together, but James, man, he was all over the place.
James would just like keep waiting for people to react. And I was accused in the chat room today of talking over people. But it's really hard because there's this slight delay, and you have to make a decision. Is no one talking because they have nothing to say, or is there lag? And you just have to decide whether it's one or the other and go with it. Because if you don't talk, it'll just...
It's dead air.
Yeah, the facial cues don't work, really.
Plus, sometimes as the host, you have to talk over people to get things back on track. That's
Yeah.
the job of being the host. So
My mic sucks, so.
Yeah, your mic cut out a little bit. It might be... I don't
it
think
was
it's...
never game breaking though. It was just a minor things here and there. Never like.
I get most of my technology at the dollar store.
Well, there you go.
That's what happens to you when you have kids.
Yeah. You don't have a $500 monthly budget for buying random crap.
No, I got a $3 bullshit budget.
That's plenty.
I don't even have a bullshit budget. I like have to justify everything I buy. Anyways,
Well, I do too, but I just buy it anyway.
have a good week, guy. Keep in touch, okay?
I
And
gotta,
let me know if you're willing to do it again. I think I'm going to make like a formalized process for staff writers to get on the show.
make it mandatory.
Make it
It
mandatory.
involves taking off your pants and sending us photos, and then
There was some pushback when we suggested it might be mandatory, but IBEC really wants to give everyone a chance to like speak directly to our readers. So it's a good option.
I think if they just take the plunge and do it, they'll really enjoy it.
Yeah. Oh, and Dave Parak, come on the show.
Yes, that is the key.
Yeah.
He's afraid of the phone. He's never. Yeah. Anyways,
Take care,
thanks,
guys.
guy.
See you later.
Yeah. Bye. Okay, you should just log off so that you can.
Oh, right, I have to end this thing, don't
Yeah.
I?
Yep.
All right, time to do stop.